Hey everybody, this is Tony at Sundance Marine in Jensen Beach. Here again on our Tuesday fishing seminar. I'm here with Sam Heaton, of course, and we have a special guest tonight. Sara Salt is with us. She is with Pelagic, and we are going to talk about sailfish tonight. And just kind of, we have some guests with us in the store here, and we're going to start off with Sam and I. We went fishing last week, and it was a bit sporty out there, but we had a good day. Sam, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Tony. Yeah, we went fishing Saturday, and it was 3 to 5. We were in a great boat. We were in the 29 Everglades, and it did a great job. But when it's like that, it's pretty tough. I enjoyed it. You enjoyed it. Some of the others didn't enjoy it quite so much. It was a little sporty. But Sarah, it's nice to meet you. They said they were going to put some eye candy on this show, and I guess they did. I got tired of looking at me.
Aw, I appreciate it. It's very nice to meet y'all. I cannot wait to maybe take have the opportunity to come down and fish with you.
Well, certainly, you're always welcome, and I'll be looking forward to that. But we did go sailfish fishing Saturday. We didn't catch one, but we caught three kings and a little tuna, and had a good time. But what they said, well, you think we ought to mention not catching any? Hey, that's fine. You don't catch them every time, and I'm not anybody that's any different than you guys out there watching the seminar. But I do have some tips that are going to help you the next time you get the opportunity to go sailfish fishing. I got an audience here at Sundance, and they're going to ask me some questions, so you boys get to thinking right away. And
Well, that's
we're
good that
going
you went because if you don't go out, then you definitely won't catch anything.
never caught one watching the boob tube. Never caught one
Exactly.
watching the boob tube.
Well,
But
unfortunately, we weren't able to fish. It was terrible weather here in Tampa, but there's always this weekend.
yeah,
So,
it,
what do you fish for? What do you fish for in Tampa?
So lately, I've been fishing, been catching a lot of snook. I caught a little flounder last time I went. Again, the weather's been really finicky. It's one day it's super sunny, and then you get all ready, and you take out the boat and everything, and then you contact a lot of wind and stuff, and you have to just kind of roll with it. But we have done quite a bit of surf fishing, and like I said, I caught a couple of snook and some flounder. So at least I got out there.
That's good. So we're going to talk about some of the techniques we used on Saturday for the sailfish. And
there's only two people in our world that get paid for being right 50% of the time. That's the weatherman and a NFL quarterback. So you can't wait on the weatherman. I've lost a lot of money doing that. But if we'd have been in anything but that 29 Everglades, we'd have had to come back.
I've had the fortunate ability to fish off of an Everglade, and with a team that I very close to my heart. It's called FFM, which is they're
yeah,
like a nonprofit. So you
yeah.
know them, yeah. They're awesome, and they have an Everglade. So I've been very fortunate to have been able to fish with them, and we caught a shellfish actually.
Great, great.
Yep.
You got any pictures of it, do you?
I do actually. I should have posted it. I posted my first shellfish on the
I saw that. I saw
Did
that. It was a
you?
good one. Yeah, you
Yeah,
did a
yeah.
good job reviving that fish. I want to brag on you about that.
Oh, thank you, thank you. We
Yeah.
really tried very hard. Actually, I caught it with Peter Miller, but that was down in Miami, and we were. He's like, it's very important that you work it and make sure that you revive it because they're beautiful fish, and we got
Oh
to try to
yeah.
keep them wet.
You got to keep them. You got to revive them. If you don't revive them, they might make it, but a predator will get them if you don't. So
Yeah,
you got to revive them.
definitely.
But Tony, tell us about Saturday when we went fishing.
So we started out locally here out of Stewart, and we went to an area where there's a lot of artificial structure. It was about 50 to 60 feet of water. It was pretty rough, so we decided to try there first. Um, we ended up getting a kingfish right off the bat once we got to the area. Uh, we drifted a couple of times. We were using live bait, live thread fin herrings, live greenies, and
Okay.
then we went out further. Sam called one of the local captains, and we found out they were catching sailfish out in deeper water. Um, so we did take a drive out a little bit deeper. I think we might have just been in the wrong area. It was tough going, and then we went back into the spot and we got a couple more
Hmm.
kingfish.
They were catching them out 120 from 90 to 120, and due to the sea conditions, I just didn't really want to go out there. It was too rough. Uh, you just can't enjoy it when it's like that. When you have to lay down the bottom of the boat, reel a fish in, it's not fun. But we did catch some nice kingfish, and we cleaned them, ate them. I ate mine Saturday night, and it was absolutely delicious. Uh,
Now, did you smoke
Luba,
it, or how did you prepare it?
I smoked it. I
You
actually
smoked it.
smoked mine
uh-huh.
today. In fact,
Yeah, I smoked mine too. Well, I grilled it. I didn't have a lot of smoke going, but I grilled it, and that's the way I like them. But it's a great fish, but it's not a sailfish. And I want to talk about the
True.
sailfish. The key to sailfish fishing, in my opinion, and I've been doing it a long time, is bait. Those things, they are the fastest swimming fish in the ocean. You got to have bait around you or bait over the wreck. I like to fish. If I'm going to fish for them, I want to fish around some kind of structure because that's where they hang out, because the bait hangs out there. And these fish actually feed in what I call wolf packs. They'll ball those
Hmm.
baits up and run through them and feed on them. So it's a team effort with the sailfish. And there's a lot of ways to fish for them. You can throw artificials, you could throw ballyhoo, you could throw but I'm I'm old school. I like that live bait fishing. And if you get good bait, keep it alive, keep it well. Don't handle it. Uh, the best thing to do is dehook them if you catch them, but leave them alone. Don't knock the scales off of them because they swim better and they live longer with the scales on. Now I got a couple of rigs here I want to share with y'all. This is a this is my selfish rig most of the time. This is a 7.5 foot Crowder rod, and it's from 10 to 30 with a 6,500 Okuma on it. And I use 40-pound braid and 60-pound mono. I'm sorry, 60-pound fluorocarbon. The reason I use the fluorocarbon is because fluorocarbon sinks, and I want that bait to get down as much as it possibly can. I use a VMC tournament circle hook, and these are number fours. That's a VMC turtle. And that's what I use. I use all circle hooks for sailfish. I really don't want anyone to pick that rod up out of that rod holder until the fish jumps. That's when I want him to jump. Also, this reel has what we call a bait feeder rod. I like that feature. I like that bait feeder feature because that can give that fish an opportunity to kill that bait and then swallow. And that's what you want him to do. So it's a good thing. Now, let me talk a little bit more about this rig, Tommy. It, I have a swivel up here 6 feet from my hook. You say, well, I don't really use swivels that much. Well, let me tell you why I use a swivel. That swivel keeps that fisherman from reeling that line up to the tip of that rod. And I want that fish to stay. If you reel that line up into that rod and you only have like 6, 8, 12 inches of line out, you're either gonna lose that fish or he's going to break you off. That's not the way to do it. But this swivel I have right here keeps the fisherman from winding that line up in the tip of that rod. And I have 6 feet of 60-pound fluorocarbon. Then I tie a loop knot and I hook my bait through the nose. Now, if I'm anchored over a wreck, or I have my trolling motor down on spot lock, I'll hook that bait in the back. The reason I hook him in the back is because he will swim down. He'll swim down. Because the reason I want him to swim down, because I have another rig that I'm fixing to show you that is fishing closer to the top. And I'll show you that. But that's fluorocarbon, swivel, and 40-pound braid. And you should see my reel is full. If you don't have a lot of line, he's going to spool you. When they get down to the bottom of that line, there ain't no drag left. He's going to break out. Because you can't stop him. I don't care if you had 200-pound test line and you were fishing a 10-foot surf rod. You can't stop those sailfish. They're so strong. I mean, even a small one, he'll either fight himself to death or he'll break it out. One or the other. So that's the reason I use that rig. The other rig that I use is an accurate reel. Here again on another Crowder rod. And this rod right here is, I want to make sure I know what I'm talking about. 15 to 30 pounds. So it's pretty stiff. Now, here again, I have fluorocarbon line, a number 4 circle hook right here, number 4 circle hook, and I have a float. You say, well, why do you want a float on there? Because now I want that bait to stay on top of the water. And also, I'm fishing out of a 24-foot boat, and that 24-foot boat can get real crowded on the back if you got a bunch of lines out. And I like to fish 4 lines, 2 on the gunnels, 2 in my rocket launcher. And so I can keep up with, I use different colored. I use an orange float and a yellow float. And I stagger them out behind the boat. But I mean, one might be out there 25 yards, the other one be out there 35 yards. Now, 2 flat lines are out further than that. They may be at 40 or 50 yards. So I stagger the lengths that they're away from the boat. That way I can manage 4 rods, unless it's blowing like crazy, like it was the other day, and we were crosswind, and then you got to cut it back to 3. Anybody got any questions yet? I must be doing a pretty good job.
Somebody had asked how you revive the shellfish.
How do you revive him? What you do?
Yeah, somebody was asking
him. Let me put this up, but I got to talk to you about that. You know, reviving a sailfish and landing a sailfish is really a pretty complicated deal. The reason is that sailfish has a bill on him about like that. And that thing is dagger sharp. And about the only way, I don't gaff them and I don't net them. The only way you can land that fish is to grab his bill. You grab his bills with your thumbs together. Because if you got him like this, he'll sling his head around and stick that bill through the side of your face. So you can't do that. You got to have your thumbs together where you can push or pull. And he can't sling his head around and stick you in the face with that bill. Because they've had that bill all their life and they know how to use it. I guarantee you, they know how to use it. Because they defend themselves.
It's pretty forceful.
What, dear?
Yeah, I said they are pretty strong, and you have to make sure that you wear gloves because when you touch that bill, it will just sandpaper your whole hand.
Well, I've landed some without gloves. My hands are still in bad shape, but I had a. Well, I won't go there. I'm going to tell you a statement by one of my ex-wives, but I won't go there. But the way you revive him is you turn that fish around and point his head into the direction of the boat, alongside the boat, and you keep him down in the water, until you feel him start reacting. And you can tell when, as he gets strong, and this may take 10, 15 minutes. It may take a long time. It
You want
may
to
take
get the
30
boat.
minutes.
You want to turn the boat into throwing
Into the current. Well, I like to put my boat at idle, or just past idle, so that you get more water flow over his gills.
Right.
I like to. I don't like to just hold him in the current. I like to move, and I'll shake him a little bit and try to revive him, and all, because it takes a lot of oxygen for that fish. It
Right.
takes a lot of oxygen, and he's fought his. And another thing is you got to disperse that lactic acid in his muscle tissue, because he's like this. He's just stiff as a board. That lactic acid has built up in his muscle tissue, and he can't really swim that way. So you got to give him time to disperse that lactic acid into his muscle tissue, where he can survive.
And you
Now,
want to work them in S's to get the air going through the gills, correct?
yeah, I use his head. I don't hold his tail. I use
You
his
don't.
head.
Okay.
I use his head. But now let me tell you this: you can keep a sailfish. You can keep one, but you have to have a migratory species permit. If you keep one and you don't have that permit, you're breaking the law. So I have a permit, but I don't keep one. But you want to make sure that fish will survive, because they are a wonderful resource and be able to survive against the predators. Just because he goes down in the water doesn't mean that he is going to be able to run from that bull shark, or run from that barracuda, or run from that whatever shark is down there, that predator is down there. And so you got to be sure you revive them. And that's the way
Right.
I handle a sailfish. Bible bill, thumbs together, and when you put your boat in gear, kind of moving back and forth like Sarah was talking about, and let that oxygen, that salt water flow over his gills so that he can make it. Did I explain that? Did everybody understand that? Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was
Okay.
good.
Yeah. Okay. What do you think, Tony? Is that the way you do it?
Yeah, absolutely. You want to, and that's not just sailfish. That's just about every fish. If you're going to release a fish, you want that oxygen to come over their over their gills as you release it, whether it be a snook or a tarpon, whatever fish it is that you're
As
releasing.
long as they don't have any teeth.
Any of these fish that jump and fight really hard. I mean, they're they're using a lot of their energy. You want them to build that energy back up before you let them, because there are predators out there, even in the river.
No, sure. They say back before all the dams and the weirs and all were put in the rivers, they say that there was bull sharks all the way up to Lake Okeechobee. They can go 100, 150 miles inland
I've caught
and
them to the
survive.
lot at the lot.
Yeah,
Caught them at the lot.
yeah.
Three
So
days.
there's bull sharks everywhere. You
Now,
got to really be careful.
now, do you have a favorite type or is it the thread fin thing that you prefer? Is that your preferred type of bait?
Yes.
Well, goggle eyes, right?
Well, I like goggle eyes too, but goggle eyes are hard to get. And if you buy them, they're super expensive. They're $120 a dozen. So, your average guy is not really going to spend, $350 on 3 dozen baits.
Right.
But I like thread fin. And
Mhm.
it's 6 of one, half dozen of another. You can either buy 3 dozen thread fin, or you can go out there and try to find them in Shabiki. I like a number 8 Shabiki green. Number 8 green with a 2 or a 3 ounce weight. I want a big enough weight so that it will keep that line tight when those fish are, or when those bait fish are flouncing around, and I can keep him from tangling up your shabiki rig.
Now,
Shabiki rigs aren't expensive. Don't be afraid to use a new one every time, because I think on a number 8 shabiki rig, I think the line is like 8 pound test. And I'm sure they don't use suffix line to build those shabiki rigs.
right, right. Now, just out of curiosity, if you run out of bait or if it dies, do you have an artificial that you like that you would recommend to anybody? Or
Yes, you can troll ballyhoo with an islander on it, or you can troll a ballyhoo with a plastic squid on the front of it. But if I'm gonna troll, I want to put out a chain bait. I mean, a chain attractor. A squid attractor out the back of the boat, or I want to put out a dredge to try to get that fish, to attract that fish. To attract that fish to come up. You say, well, that dredge is a lot of trouble. But I've seen the dredge work many, many, many times. And the dredge is a good piece of equipment. I just as soon have 3 rods with a dredge as I have 4 rods. It just, that dredge really, really helps those, brings those fish up.
right.
Yeah.
And
We
would
got a
you say
question right here. What was your question, sir? Uh-huh. Yeah.
I can't get the question
Yeah.
at all?
So
The gentleman asked, go ahead, Tony.
I was going to say the question was, as you're deploying your baits, do you keep the boat in gear? And the answer is yeah. You want to have the boat in gear so that you don't need to depend on them swimming, because they won't always swim away from the boat. They'll sometimes swim right next to the boat. So you want to have your boat in gear in the direction that you intend to troll, whether it be over a artificial structure or along a edge, weed line, whatever.
Because these things are not ambassadors. They do not throw well. You will backlash the fire out of that thing if you try to throw it. So, I meant to say, this mono on here, I use mono and braid. The reason I use some of the mono is for the stretch. Okay. And I like, this is 30 pound mono, and I use 40 pound braid. Suffix.
Sarah, you had a question?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to say, when you're working alone and you're working your spread, do you think that it's prudent to perhaps pull in the other lines once it hits one so that it doesn't get caught up in the one that's caught, or do you like to just keep them out
Yeah,
and
it's
fish?
according. Like I said a while ago, selfish travel in schools. So if you want to catch more than one, you can leave some baits out there.
Depends on how rich that tournament is you're fishing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
A lot of
for a
times
tournament.
and that's
Yeah,
another
the
reason.
tournament guys will leave the baits out. So they'll pull the dredge up and then leave a bait or two out in case there's
Right.
another fish around.
And that's another reason for these large capacity reels. Let that fish run. Let him get away from the boat, land that first fish, and then go after that second fish. Even if you have to turn the boat around and run him down. And that's the reason. Everybody says, well, they won't let you fish tournaments in a small boat. That's the reason, because it's so much more maneuverable, and you can run that fish down, touch that leader, and that's a caught fish. So, it's a lot easier than turning one of them big sport fishermen around. And there ain't no place to fight a fish off in front of a fisherman unless you're a lot more agile than I am. Any more questions out there? Let's talk a little bit about those kingfish. Everybody knows the kingfish. He got a lot of teeth, and they know how to use it. But I don't use a lot of wire. You say, well, why not? Because I use that 60 pound fluorocarbon. It's pretty tough line. And what is it? Hey, buddy, how you doing? Anyway,
I'm
we
sorry
got
about that. I was telling you.
no problem, man. I love guys that are drinking beer and talking about fishing. That's my favorite thing. Two favorite. Anyway, uh, you'll catch with this rig. You can catch sailfish. You can catch dolphin. You can catch blackfin tuna. You can catch uh, kingfish. You can catch
Cobia.
cobia, little toonie. You can catch. That's something. Everybody says, "Well, that's a bonita." Actually, a little toonie is not a bonita. A little toonie is somewhat of a poor man's tuna. If you want to keep one, you bleed him out, cut his gill plate, put him in the fish box, bleed him out, or tie him behind the boat tail first, and bleed him out, and then fillet him off. And you'll see there is a big loin of lighter meat in that little tuna. And you can take that thing and slice it real thin with some wasabi and some other spices. What's that real hot stuff? That green stuff.
Stop.
Wasabi and
Soy sauce.
the other one is what?
So,
Soy sauce. There you go. That man's ate them. And a little bit of soy sauce. And it is some of the best fresh fish you'll ever eat in your life. But it has a big red streak in it. Don't eat the red streak. Red streak's pretty strong.
Yeah,
Unless you're out there shipwrecked, then you eat everything but the tail.
exactly.
Sarah, so you're going to be in. We're going to get close to our time here, but you're going to tell us about next week. You're going to be down here for a tournament.
Yeah, so next week I'll be there for the Shamrock tournament. It's held by Pelagic, and so we're all fishing it independently this year. All the girls are, because of COVID and all the restrictions, we're not able to do all of the socializing that we were last year. So we're all fishing individually on different teams, and but they're still holding it. And if you want to come by and look at the catches, and you can still see a lot. You just have to make sure that you social distance. I'm sorry, and wear a
That's out
mask.
of
But yeah,
the
we'll be
Palm
out there.
Beach Sailfish Marina in Palm Beach.
And we'll be fishing for kingfish, dolphin, wahoo, cobia, and blackfin tuna. So
Good
I'm
luck.
excited about that.
Exactly. And I
Yeah,
saw
thank you.
y'all group picture. Y'all are pretty easy on your eyes, so hopefully
I
y'all all get to go fishing.
I am so stoked. I'm really excited because just the weather has not allowed for us to do a whole lot of fishing. But hopefully the gods will be with us this weekend and we'll be able to catch a lot of stuff. So
Can you send me some of those pretty pelagic T-shirts?
I might be able to get you something. When I come
I'm
down
just
to see
teasing.
you,
I'm
when
just
I come down to
teasing.
see you, and we fish for, you said we could maybe do some fly fishing for tarpon.
For
Maybe I'll be
tarpon,
able to have some.
May starts the fly fishing for tarpon off, and light tackle and fly, and hopefully we're going to have a real good year. We got a lot better water quality than we had last year, and I'm hoping that it's really going to really make the tarpon fishing good.
It's about it's getting started here. People are starting to catch them, so I'm really stoked.
Yeah.
That's good. What? Any other questions
Any
for
questions?
you guys? Any questions for Sara Salt?
What about Sara Salt? That's us.
That's
So
us.
you're going to be. Are you going to have time when you're down here, Sarah, to come by the Sundance next week? Or are you going to be pretty tied up down there?
I come in on Thursday, so I might be able to stop by and say hello. Are y'all going to
Yeah,
be there
come
all
by.
weekend?
We're here every day in the marina, so we've got a full service marina here at Sundance, and to stop by and say hello.
I most certainly will. I'll stop by and make formal introductions, and maybe we can set something up for the future.
That
Okay.
sounds good. One of the things I wanted to tell people, I have an app on my phone. It's called Fish Root, and that has all the species in saltwater in it. How many of you know what the limit on kingfish is? What's the limit on kingfish? What? 2? No, sir. It's 4. I'm gonna check that. Y'all got me scared now. Y'all got me scared. But it's like the other day I was fishing for triple tail. Okay, caught some, which is unusual for triple tail, and they were fine king mackerel. They were nice fish. I mean, nice fish. And I got the, yes sir, 4 for kingfish. They have to be how long? 24 inches to the 4, right? So that little app right there can really save you a lot of heartache. And I'm gonna go back to my triple tail. So I was catching these nice triple tail, and I mean, there were some of them, they were that big. And I said,
Really cutting
how
up.
big do they have to be to keep them? And I was fishing with my buddy Mark Nichols. He said, I don't know. He said, those are keepers. We looked it up. They have to be 18 inches long before you can keep one. So these rules change daily with the FWC. You got to have something
It's
that
not
keeps you
like
honest, or it can be real expensive. A long time ago, we used to have a game warden here. Uh, a long time ago, we used to have a game warden here. He would wait till you got your boat on the trailer and pulled out before he would check you. That way, he could confiscate your boat, your truck, and all your fishing equipment. That's a
wow.
true story. That's a true story. You broke the law, you know. So these guys now they're a little more tolerant than that. This guy he was pretty rough. I think he wanted to retire. But anyway,
Well, we
get that
promote
fish out.
we promote keeping within the regulations for fishing.
Yes, sir. If you don't, you're gonna ask for trouble.
Can't hear you. So we're gonna go ahead. I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up, Sarah.
Okay.
You got anything else to add for us? Got anything else you want to comment on
No,
besides
I don't.
Sam's shirt?
You like my shirt?
You don't like his shirt?
I do. I like my
No,
shirt.
I just have to give Sam a hard time every time he.
I got a haircut today
You look
just
handsome.
just for the show because I was
I,
looking pretty woolly.
I know this is not going to be a popular thing to say, but the colors that you're wearing together, I like for my
All
school.
right,
The color.
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I'm
but
a
I went to
fashion statement.
Auburn.
Hey, if you got some of them pelagic boots, bring some of them too. Left D.
Just leave me all of your sizes and we'll work on it.
Sir, he's got a.
Perfect.
We got a guy in the audience that's got a pelagic shirt on.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you hear what he said?
I did not. What did he say?
They're expensive, but they're worth it.
They are worth it. I like them a lot. I
Kind of
really
like
do
a
enjoy the
dancing
clothes.
girl. Kind of like a dancing girl.
All right.
They're expensive, but they're
On that,
worth
on that note.
On,
Sarah,
on
we'll look
that
forward to
note,
meeting you. We'll look forward to seeing you in person. Good luck next week.
thank you
Uh,
so much.
hope you can make it by. If not, we'll catch up sometime in the future. Come down and fish with us. We try to fish. We do this seminar every second Tuesday, and we try to get out the week prior to do some fishing. So if you want to
I'm
come
on
fish
it.
with us, we'll keep
I
we'll
really
keep you posted.
appreciate it. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you. Goodbye.